Alright guys, so if you guys are new to Mike's OG Academy, we do everything you guys need to know about golf instruction, whether it be golf course vlogs like this one, golf instructional videos. Again, anything you guys need to know about golf instruction, we do it here. So if you guys haven't already, hit that little red subscribe button at the bottom. You guys will be notified every time we drop a video. So welcome to part 2 of this course vlog. We're over at the beautiful St. Mark Golf Club in San Marcos, California. If you guys want to play the course, go ahead and use the description below and you guys will find their website. This is hole number 5, shortish par 4. It's right around 350 yards. Wind, I believe, was into off the left here. This one was kind of a toe hook dive ball, I like to call it, where you just hit it so far off the toe and it's hooking. Doesn't stay up in the air. Not a very good swing. Not too happy with that. Anyways, left myself in an okay spot here. The lie was kind of like a flyer lie. It was sitting up in the rough, and then it was right at the front of a divot. So it was going to be really tough to get the yardage right on this one. So anyways, I've right around 104 yards, I believe, to that pin. It's a back pin. It's hard to tell where the wind was coming from here. I couldn't really tell if it was hurting or if it was just straight left or right. I knew if I got it up in the air, it was definitely going to affect it. So I was trying to keep it somewhat kind of a mid-trajectory shot, even though it's kind of hard to do that when the ball's like teed up in the rough. But I was trying to do some type of mid-trajectory shot to where the wind didn't affect it too much. If anything, maybe put a little bit of a draw spin on it to kind of counteract some of those wind's effect. So anyways, let's see how I do. So as you guys can see, I'm aiming pretty much, if anything, a little bit right of the pin because I know there's plenty of green to the right, and let's see if I can hit that little mid-trajectory draw. So as you guys probably heard there, the wind picked up right when I hit that thing and it just knocked it out into the right. So I left myself a pretty long putt from 100 yards. I think I got about, I don't know, somewhere around 38 to 40 feet. Again, not the best wedge shot, but I didn't leave myself with the best scenario. You really don't want to miss fairway on that short of a hole. Typically, if I hit a really good drive on that hole, I could have like a nice little 30-yard pitch shot. That was pretty much what we were trying to plan. Again, I just hit a really bad drive off the tee. But putt for birdie, nothing's bad yet. So we got an uphill putt. This one, obviously, as you can see, slopes away from us once you get past the hole. So again, when the greens get really quick, this is a tricky putt to kind of get the correct speed. So again, this is kind of the first long putt that I've had all day, so I'm really trying to make sure I get the speed dialed in here. I know it's going to go a little bit left throughout the whole putt. When it gets around the hole, it's going to straighten out a touch. It's not really going to snap a lot. But again, this one's all about speed, so let's see how I do. So currently, as we see, this one's going to be a little bit short. Typically, how I judge speed, it depends. When I'm playing a lot, I kind of go a little bit into a, like a clock system, I guess you can call it. I basically break up my 2-to-1 ratio in terms of tempo, and then I keep it at a certain overall speed. So let's say, to make it really simple, let's say I like to have my speed right around, I don't know, 72 or 80 or something like that on this tempo app that I use. I would keep the ratio 2-to-1, but I pretty much keep that speed. So I change up my speed basically from length of stroke, not necessarily speed of stroke, even though sometimes on really slow greens, I'll change speed of stroke a little bit. It gets kind of complex, but if you guys want to watch a video on how I basically judge speed with putting, make sure to leave the comment below and we'll make it soon. It'll be a little bit more clear. So anyways, this one I thought was right edge to right center. I hit a really good putt. It kind of wobbled a little bit right on me, and I didn't quite read it right as well. I probably should have played that center. Kind of a disappointing 3-putt there, especially after I just made a really good par on a tough hole. But anyways, we got some birdie holes coming up, so it's not the biggest a deal. Again, I'm really just trying to see where I'm at with my game right now, so I'm not overly worried about score, even though I do want to shoot a good score for you guys. So we got 100. Typically, this hole's 165 from where the Blues normally play. The tees were up about 12 yards. So it's playing right around 153. It is a front pin as well, so more so like 147. Wind's kind of helping from the right. I'm going to be aiming this one at that tree in the background that you can see. That's pretty much right where I'm kind of trying to start this thing, and then let the wind kind of filter it back to it. With these shots, all I'm really trying to focus in on is kind of the alignment stick drill and just getting release point correct. As you can see, I kind of got a little early extension there, kind of a little quick in transition, flipped at it at the bottom, and I overhooked it to the left, and I missed the long and left, which is not a good miss. So right now, currently I'm in a tough spot. Obviously, in terms of the round, I just made a silly bogey on the last hole. now I'm facing another really tough up and down for par. This is really where you guys gotta just focus on priorities. Don't get overly aggressive on this shot, and definitely don't get too cute on it. I'm really just focusing on landing point, adjusting for the lie. The lie was not sitting up completely to where I could kind of get a higher shot than I wanted. I wanted to hit a little higher than I'm about to hit it here, but it wasn't sitting so far down to where I had to hit like a low shot into the hill. So it was an okay lie. So I was trying to get like a mid trajectory, landing on the upslope like I did here, and I hit my spot perfectly. I just thought it would check up more, and it rolled out a lot more than I thought it was going to. The greens were wet, but also it was windy, so I think the greens were starting to dry out. It was hard for me to adjust just because felt like the first couple of greens were really, really wet. But anyways, as you can see, the sun was coming out too as well. So now we left ourselves right around 12 feet up the hill. It's a right to left putt. A lot of times I've seen players miss this putt low side when I do playing lessons with my students, so I'm keeping that in mind. I'm trying to play this one right around a half cup to a quarter cup out right. Looking over this putt again, it looks like I might be, it's hard to tell because you can't see the golf club, but it looks like I might be aiming a little bit more right than I wanted to, which is something I'm going to take notice of. And as you can see there, I started at more like a cup and a quarter of a cup out to the right, so it was way too much. I was trying to play out more like a half cup to a quarter cup. So anyways, great speed, just I think that was bad alignment there. Going into the next hole, it's a reachable par 5. It's 465 yards from the tips. I think the Blues were playing a little bit more up, probably like another 10 to 12. So again, that's another 450 something. Again, this one's downwind off the right. Really, really gettable hole. As you can see, I got trees in front of me. I have the ability to hit a really high bomb ball draw. So really those trees aren't really worrying me. I took my 2 club lengths back as well. I'm trying to take a starting line pretty much at the cart path and hit like a 30-yard kind of draw shot, which I've been pulling off pretty good earlier in this course log, as you guys can see as well. And let's see how I do. Alignment looks good there. Let's see if I can pull the shot off. Bam. As you can see, pretty good swing there. Started it right where I wanted to. It drew pretty much the perfect amount as well. Not quite. I couldn't really see it down, so I don't know how it bounced, but this is where it ended up. I have about 145 yards-ish to 140 yards. It's a middle pin. This is a really tough green. It's sloped from front to back. So the front part is the highest part and the back part is the lowest part. So it's really tough to stop it, especially coming out of the rough and especially when it's kind of down off the left. So I'm trying to kind of hit like a, almost kind of a squeeze, like straight ball shot to, if anything, a baby draw to kind of basically counteract the wind a little bit, as well as trying to kind of hit a little bit more of a spinny shot to try to spin it on this green. I mean, these were the shots when I was practicing a lot and I had access to like a TrackMan with my old coach. I could really get these numbers dialed in, but obviously I've not had a launch monitor for a while. We're getting one soon though, but I haven't been able to dial in my numbers obviously. So I hit this one probably about 5 yards too long. I landed it back fringe and it bounced over. So from here, luckily I drew an okay lie. It was actually kind of like, it looked like it was cut like the fairway back here. So I actually had a pretty good lie. It was sitting down a touch. Didn't really bother me though. I had lob wedge here. Wind was obviously into slightly. I'm trying to land this pretty close to the pin and just kind of let it check. I had 2 options. I could play the one where I landed just barely on the green and try to kind of hit a low one and run it up there. But this shot off that type of lie, I've really been trying to focus on shallowing the angle attack and using a little bit more bounce. So I wanted to try this shot out to where I landed it a little further. And I thought I played the shot pretty good. It just didn't check the way I thought it was going to. And I kind of let the toe release a little bit too, which might have took some of that spin off. But I left myself a makeable birdie putt. I got it right around 8 feet down the hill. It's a right to left breaking putt. Wind is off the left, as you can see in the trees, so that might have some effect to it. Really what I'm doing here, obviously you can see I'm a little confused with this putt, how much it's going to break. It's pretty obvious it's going to go right to left. It's just kind of finding, again, all day I haven't really made a putt of this distance, so I'm really trying to figure out what speed I want to hit it and then match the line to the speed. It's something that when I'm playing really well I do very, very good, but obviously when I take a break off and I don't practice as much like I have been, I get a little rusty with that kind of skill set. It makes it a lot tougher to hold these putts. So let's see what I do on this one. It looks like I got this aimed out right around the right edge of the hole. All I got to do is just keep up the speed and let's see what happens. So hit a pretty good putt here. I needed to hit that a little bit harder. I wanted to hit that probably about a cup past. I hit that about a half cup. Also, I could have played a little bit more break too as well, so a touch of a mystery. But again, just really not getting speed / line dialed. So a little frustrating to walk off there with a par. Currently right now, I'm 3 over par. 2 more holes to go in. My thoughts at this point, let's go birdie birdie, obviously. We got a pretty easy par 4 here. It's 360, but straight into the wind. Dogleg right. I'm trying to take it up at the middle to right side of the dogleg and then kind of just draw it back. Normally, when it's not so windy, obviously swinging a lot more confidently, I'm trying to hit that power fade because it cuts off the hole quite a bit and I can have like a 20-yard shot in. But today I was kind of just trying to take my medicine, aiming up the middle to right side of the dogleg, a little baby trail if anything, and really just trying to do my which was pretty good there. So we overdrew a touch and it ended up being in the rough, but clear shot at the green, so really not that bad of a shot. This lie was kind of a funky little lie. It was kind of like tight. It was like a tight lie, but in the rough, which was kind of weird. It was sitting down as well. I wanted to hit a wedge, was the correct shot for this. But again, there wasn't enough green to where I thought it was going to skid it and stop, just because the last couple pitch shots that I saw weren't really stopping for me. So I was afraid if I hit wedge, I'd bounce it over the back, which was dead. So it forced me to play a shot I wasn't really too comfortable with. Controlling low point with a gap wedge and trying to get a not quite full out gap wedge, but a pretty full gap wedge, and just this one was really all about strike here. So let's see what I do. Hit it a hair chunky, but not too bad, and luckily I played the club I did because it landed about 20 feet short and then it rolled up to about 12 feet away, I believe. So it was a really good shot, really happy with that. From here, we got another kind of downhill left or righter. Had a lot of those today for birdie / a couple for par. As you can see, pretty good shot into this hole, especially with the lie that I had. You guys, if you ever get those really tight lies, even in the fairway or in the rough, it's more so hard in the rough because there's some grass behind it as well, and then it's kind of a tight lie. Really important. I like the longer club option. Like I would have really preferred to hit a pitching wedge and kind of flight one in there low. But again, as you guys can see, the green's from front to back. So if I land it where my golf ball landed there with wedge, I was afraid it was going to hard hop and then maybe roll off, or even if it got a really big hard hop, I'd have like a 15-yard pitch shot, and then it becomes really tough in the back of that green just because there's so many different types of lies you can get in the Kikuya back there that it definitely brings in the chance for bogey. So. And then the gap wedge too, if you come up short, there's a bunker pretty far short, and then there's Kikuya grass in between that bunker. So it's kind of a dicey little shot, even though it's only 100 yards or a little bit less than that. So really happy I pulled it off. Anyways, we got right around 12 feet. I'm aiming this right around a half cup out. Pulled it a little bit too with that putt, and it didn't quite come back. Got a little defensive there. I knew it was going to break hard left or right at the end. I tend to pull those, which I'd rather do than push them, just because it does give me obviously better speed. If you pull it a little left, you're not going to roll out as much as if you miss the low side. So okay par. Obviously at this point, a little frustrated with the round. I know I'm rusty, but whenever I get back into the playing mentality, I definitely start getting way more critical of myself, which is something I've always struggled with my career as a golfer, not a golf instructor, but a golfer. So a lot of my students are also perfectionists. I think that's kind of my curse. I know my coach had to deal with me, and I was definitely not the most favorite student of his, so I get a lot of perfectionist students too, so I'm happy to help you guys out. Anyways, we got a 340-yard par 4. Tees are way up today. They're about 20-30 yards up, so it's probably playing more like 310. I got a 6-iron here. I'm trying to aim it at those trees and kind of just play like a stock high draw, which is normally my shot. Got a little dumped under the plane there, hit it a little bit off the toe. Not the best contact, but luckily it was a little bit downwind. Now, this lie was another really tough one. It was kind of a tight lie, but wet lie. You can obviously see the puddles around here, so I really got to focus in on kind of shallow angle of attack and really just try to get the club head low to the ground and stay there for longer, as opposed to getting more of that steeper angle attack I would get out of the rough. Also, the wind is howling down off the left. More so, it was flipping between straight off the left and down between this shot. So I was aiming this one pretty much just left of the pin. I was trying to hit like a low hooded hook shot almost. and I hit a pretty good shot. It's just the wind gusted right when I hit that, and it just, as you'll see it down here in a sec, it literally cut about 30, not 30, but probably about like 15 yards with a wedge, which is just ridiculous. I mean, I hit. Another thing I might need to work on, just judging wind a little bit better, maybe not trying to fight it as much. I just never like to aim a wedge 10 yards left of the pin, especially when there's a bunker lot too. That would have been probably the best alignment to hit it close, but again, I'd rather try to fight that wind, unless it's really, really gale force wind, then I might, because it's pretty windy today, but it wasn't like the worst I've played in. So this was getting close to the peak point where I'd probably just stop fighting the wind, but today I fought it a little bit. Again, rusty, guys. Course management, everything is a little rusty right now. So anyways, I got, what do I got here? I think I got like 28 feet. Left to right putt, obviously. Wind is obviously off the left as well, from my view. So it's definitely, I think the wind was going to have a little bit of effect on this putt. It's definitely one where it's just outside my confidence range in holding it, but I still felt like if I put a good putt on it, I think I might have a chance of holding it. I pulled this one again. Pretty typical for me whenever it's a left or right putt and the wind's howling off the left as well. You get a little defensive there typically, and you want to close that face through impact. But again, not bad for speed, and it was a pretty easy 2-putt. So again, guys, 39 is what we shot for this first 9. We're going to get the stats up in the Instagram video, but let's get to the outro. As you can see, that was my first statistical round. 3 over par, 39. Not my best, obviously, but again, like I said, a little rusty. Can I get down to the scratch level handicap in under a month? Is it even possible? I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to document everything we got coming up, so stay tuned. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this series. It's probably the most hands-on, applicable series you guys are going to see from this channel in terms of taking your golf game from one level to the next. Alright guys, best of luck, and see you guys soon. Go as hard as I can, got 10 degree, people come and take